check. 1 2 1 2. I guess I'm live. All right, now let's get viewers. I guess I've got viewers. All right. Hello, everybody. So today is a super important day for Bitcoin. Bitcoin's job is to provide censorship resistance and a reasonable rate of inflation, which is consistently decreasing, to compete against worse fiat currencies and a bunch of middlemen, which had friction and cost and misinvestment and malinvestment due to the boom and bust cycle of artificially low interest rates. Now, during that path, nation states had two options. They either could, one, become friends, legalize it, make everything easy. And some countries actually did that. So in the United States, we had a license, such as the New York license, which allows large multi-million-dollar entities, I guess a billion-dollar entity now, such as Coinbase, to
This is an old Richard Hart video. I think it says it there at the bottom. I've got some dope echo off the chain. Loving it. I'm not pulling up Twitter or any of that crap. I don't think so. I just want to come out with a live when we pamp. It looks like we're going to pamp. Maybe I could pull up a chart, but just so I can say that I told everybody. There is the hex sacrifice or pulse chain sacrifice address is starting to buy. Henceforth, shit could get crazy. Pamptown, correctamundo. Yeah, I just want to come out and be able to tell people. Might have this video playing, might not, I don't know, but people get ready. Maybe I can pull up a chart. Maybe I can pull up a chart and pull up the eHEX chart.
easily onboard millions of new people into the system. So the United States made a great choice there. China, however, was much slower. They didn't create a special legislation for Bitcoin entities, and therefore their ecosystem was somewhat crippled because it led to regulatory uncertainty, and as you've seen, regulatory turning off. So now the question becomes, when a nation state turns off something that its citizens want, does the price of Bitcoin go up or does the price of Bitcoin go down? And the good news is that after all the FUD, all the Jamie Dimon, all the China shutting off everything they can, staggering their news, the price of Bitcoin went to 3,000, which it does on its own normally, just a random volatility of a new crazy thing, okay? So a thing that just drops 40% normally, that only goes to the 40% point for a couple minutes and then shoots all the way up 25%. We bounced in 3 hours from 3,000 to 3,800. Then they staggered out some more crap news. We went from 3,800 to about 3,600, and now we're going up again. I think we're at about 3,750 now. Well, let's check the chat, check the charts. About 3,700. Well, yeah, 3,700. So if every ban that they can do and all of the FUD that could exist and all of the forks and all of the Bcash and all of that garbage has already happened, it could only get the price to 3,700, you couldn't possibly be more bullish. And when the government decides that they're going to screw their citizens over and trample their rights to conduct commerce with their fellow man, to conduct commerce internationally, to turn them into wage slaves or fiat slaves or interest slaves or debt slaves, whatever you want to call it, when they find out that doing that makes the price of the Bitcoin go up, it's like prohibition for alcohol. Some goody two-shoes decided that they were going to make alcohol illegal in the United States. And what they got was a lot more people, a lot more violence, a lot more poisoning. They poisoned the alcohol so that people wouldn't drink it. And then the people drank the poison alcohol and they died. So China's trying to poison the fun drinking of Bitcoin alcohol that people are currently enjoying, getting the highest outsized returns of any investment class in the world, something that's truly decorrelated from the markets. I was listening to an interview with Tim Ferriss and Ray Dalio today, and it's a good interview. You should check it out. Tim Ferriss is trying to ask Ray Dalio how he should evaluate whether Bitcoin is a good price or when to get in, things like that, because Tim Ferriss is a startup guy, and he can't use the same logic that he uses for startups to figure out whether Bitcoin's a good idea or not. But he knows that there's a lot of other people that have made a lot more money in the VC business than he has that are deep, deep, deep invested in Bitcoin. And Ray Dalio said, well, if you want to know whether something's a good investment or not, you analyze the people, the buyers and sellers. What are the motives that they have? And then if you understand their motives well enough, you can predict what they're going to do in the future. And the other thing, so to that point, if Chinese people want to get around their currency controls and are smuggling gold to do it and are doing every trick in the book to route that value around the artificial government control, we know that they love Bitcoin. That's why there's so much mining there. We know that they love Bitcoin. That's why there's so many exchanges there, and there's so much volume there, and there's so much development there. They love this stuff, and they're part of the reason the price is as high as it is. Now, what happens when you ban something people love and they derive benefit from? The price goes much higher. And that's not a theory, that's a fact. You can go on localbitcoins.com and see what the price of Bitcoin is all over the world, in every shitty country that's decided to screw over their citizens by making it illegal for them to protect their wealth, by making it illegal for them to speak the language of commerce to other people. We're just transmitting digits to each other. This is communication. Speech is a right. It's enshrined in the Constitution of the United States. It's enshrined in United Nations charters, and it's enshrined in nearly every civilized country in the world. And the ability to use your money to speak is also protected in the United States by the Citizens United verdict. Money is speech, Bitcoin is speech, and if you try and stop people from speaking, you will get revolution. When you don't let people voice their concerns and you don't let them engage in commerce with each other, and they don't have any friendly, nice way to route around you, you end up with unfriendly ways. And this is a world where revolutions do occur. They've occurred in Cuba, they've occurred in Venezuela, they occur all the time in the Middle East and Egypt, they occur all the time in Central America, sometimes in South America. The world gets better when you make it get better. So part of making the world get better is showing these nation states, showing these governments that when they try to screw with Bitcoin, the price just goes up. You try and screw with mining, the fees go up and people mine more. You try and screw with exchanges, we go to peer-to-peer. We got satellites. We got little sticks called OpenDime that you can transfer Bitcoin like cash because there's encryption on them. So they're not like normal memory sticks. They're encrypted memory sticks that are magical in some way. I don't feel like explaining it. That allow you to sell your Bitcoin in person, no internet needed, right? So you can do Bitcoin transactions over SMS. You can do Bitcoin transactions using satellites. You can do Bitcoin transactions without the internet. You can do Bitcoin transactions in person using an OpenDime. You know what other cryptocurrency you can do that with? None. Ethereum won't let you do any of that. No other cryptocurrency will let you do any of that. The only cryptocurrency in the world that has those capabilities is the Bitcoin cryptocurrency. So all those Chinese people that were buying ICOs, banned. Well, what are they going to do with that money? What are they going to do with that economic energy? They've been addicted to the gains, the mad gains. Where are they going to get their mad gains? In the only currency that they can actually use, Bitcoin, which also happens to be the most secure one, which also happens to be the most widely adopted, which also happens to have real cypherpunks that care about user privacy and security over corporate garbage. So Blockstream, people like to make fun of it because it's a company. I hate to break it to you. Every open source project, the majority of the people that work on it work for companies during the day and the projects related to what they do for work. That's the vast majority of open source development. And I'm going to tell you, you prefer that to having people that just show up whenever and kind of work on it a little bit because they don't really have to, because it's not their job. Bitcoin is as good as it is because we have the best developers. Adam Back invented or popularized proof of work with Hashcash. Satoshi quoted him in the paper. Nick Szabo coined the term smart contracts. When numbers were made illegal, when they figured out how to decode DVDs and rip the data off of them by cracking the DRM, that little magic code that let you crack the DRM, Adam Back was selling t-shirts with that code, okay? And that's the kind of thing you could have got put in jail for, because that number was made illegal to publicize for a while. There was risk involved. So Adam Back, for the last 20 years, provably cares about your privacy, cares about your security, cares about digital scarcity, and was one of the first guys to try and get digital scarcity to exist. You know, Bitcoin's not the first attempt at a digital currency. It's one of a long line of attempts that were very close, but didn't just get it right. And Bitcoin got it right. You know, a lot of people are amazed by Bitcoin's technology. One of the things that they're not amazed by, which blows my mind, is how hard it was to get it to have a price. Somebody had to mine it when it was worth nothing. Somebody had to build all of the ecosystem around it when it was worth nothing. I was part of that. I got in early 2011. I got to be some of the first GPU miners in the world because a nice guy, who I won't name, was nice enough to write a software and allow us to use. Well, thank you, guy, for writing some open source software and letting me run it and make coins from thin air. That was very nice of you. Wow. You would prefer the world operate in that way with those guys who don't really have a business model, who aren't trying to make a lot of cash, who really are invested in the ecosystem, invested in the coins. You know all those sellouts? You know those people that tell you that they care about Bitcoin? Where are they now? Right now, when we're punching the nation state in the face, showing them that when you screw with Bitcoin, we screw back, where are they? Why don't I hear their voices? Why don't I see them memeing? Why don't I see their images? All I see is silence because they're all trying to pump their little fake coins because they figure, hey, you know what? If I can get bigger percentage of fake coin and I pump fake coin, I make more money, right? So I'm not going to name names because I'm happy to ghost those guys and just let them disappear. For all the people that you think have an in the space, where are they now? Did they warn you about the China ban? Did they tell you where to buy the bottom? Did they give you translations? Did they give you news first? Are they pumping and doing everything they can to control the image so that the price goes up sooner rather than later? I would rather the Bitcoin price go up sooner to show you that when you FUD, you get a day of dump and then a whole lot of profit. So that if you don't time your exit on your dump right, you get burnt, right? I love it when these guys go short in public media and then the price goes up. Because when they place their little pussy short with their little wage slave money and they try and get the price to dip with their stupid article with a bunch of unfounded crap, they don't know what they're talking about. They're not computer scientists. Listen, if you're not a computer scientist and you think you know what's going on in Bitcoin, you probably don't. This is cutting edge stuff. This is literally computer science breakthroughs pushing the limits of what cryptography can be used for in a $50 billion flying airplane that doesn't have downtime. Go look at Ethereum's downtime. Exchanges have to turn off Ethereum wallets all the time. What kind of world currency is off all the time? Or worse, hacked all the time? Or worse, has no user retailer adoption at all? No one's buying anything with it except other useless things. You got to be kidding me. So, when this stuff all happened, peer-to-peer Bitcoin banning, Bitcoin trading isn't banned, but ICO crap is in China. And where's all of Ethereum's volume come from? Where does all of the purchase orders from Ethereum come from? People trying to get into these stupid ICOs. Okay? So when the ICOs got banned, you'd expect the Ethereum price to drop through the floor, right? It didn't. Maybe that's because the people that actually hold all the Ethereum now are the ICOs that all the stupid people gave their money to. The stupid people gave their hard-earned real cryptocurrency that they could have done something with, Bitcoin, to ICO number one of the first successful ICOs. It's really like ICO number 6. It came after a bunch of other ones, which would be Ethereum. And then that ICO, which was an ICO, then they took that money, which pumped and had a little value, and they gave it to these other ICOs. And now those ICOs are trying to create their own sub-ICOs. And it's basically layers of bad business models with unproven teams that get paid extra the more impossible their project gets. The more impossible